Welcome to Conspiracy Anonymous. I'm your host, Anonymous. If you enjoy this episode today, please leave a like and subscribe for more from the conspiracy world. Today, we are diving into one of the strangest, oldest, and honestly most unsettling theories floating around the conspiracy world. This is not about space. This is not ghosts. This is not time travelers ordering DoorDash. This one hits deeper, literally deeper. The Hollow Earth theory. Not just the idea that the planet is a giant cosmic jawbreaker with a big empty middle, but that something lives in there. Something old, something intelligent, something that may have been here long before us and might outlive us by 1,000,000 years. And yes, this includes the Reptilians, those cold-blooded architects of paranoia, the alleged puppet masters hiding in the shadows of governments, religions, and civilizations. According to some theories, we didn't just make contact with them, we were colonized by them, from the inside out. Tonight, I want to take you through the whole thing, the geography, the myths, the military encounters, the ancient stories, and the possibility that humanity is basically living on the crust of someone else's house. Someone who might be watching us, maybe guiding us, maybe using us. So grab your light, grab your coffee, grab the last bit of sanity you have left, because this one goes deep, literally. The Hollow Earth idea isn't new. It didn't start with TikTok. It didn't start with weird Reddit threads, and it didn't start with that one uncle who always smells like cigarette smoke and tells you that Antarctica is fake. This theory goes back thousands of years. Ancient civilizations, ones with no contact with each other, all told stories about inner worlds, underground realms, and beings who lived beneath the surface. The Buddhists talked about Agartha, a hidden, technologically advanced kingdom beneath the Himalayas. The Hopi spoke of the ant people, beings who lived under the earth and sheltered humanity during world-ending events. The Hindus described Patala, one of 7 underground realms filled with powerful non-human rulers. The Greeks mentioned Hades, not metaphorically, but as a literal physical place beneath the earth. And if you stack all these myths side by side, the descriptions line up way too well. A big, warm, thriving world beneath the crust. Massive caverns. Ancient cities. Beings who aren't exactly human, but definitely intelligent. It's like humanity keeps accidentally remembering the same thing. Now, let's talk structure. How does Hollow Earth supposedly work? Different versions of the theory say different things. But the most popular version says the planet is a sphere with a thick outer crust, giant caverns and tunnels, a hollow central space, a small sun floating in the middle, even entire continents and oceans inside. Imagine a snow globe, but you're standing on the inner surface instead of the outer one. That's how some people describe it. There are supposedly massive openings at both poles. Think 30, 60 miles wide. Huge enough for aircraft to enter, huge enough for ships to vanish without a trace. Which brings us to someone who claimed to have actually flown into one, Admiral Byrd. In 1974, Admiral Richard Byrd leads Operation High Jump, a massive U.S. military expedition to Antarctica. Officially, the mission was for research. Unofficially, it was the largest naval operation ever sent to the polar regions. According to the conspiracy version of the story, Byrd didn't just fly over Antarctica, he flew into it. He reportedly wrote in his diary about entering a lush, green valley full of strange animals, seeing no ice, and being escorted by flying craft far beyond anything we possess. And then, radio contact was cut. When he returned, He allegedly warned US officials about a civilization with technology capable of flying from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Shortly after, the diary vanished from history for decades. And here's the weird part. Governments suddenly developed a massive interest in Antarctica. Strict rules, no-fly zones, more military presence than it ever needed. Almost like they were guarding something alive, something intelligent. So who exactly lives down there? This is where the theories get wild. Some say it's the Old Ones, a hyper-advanced civilization that once lived on the surface but retreated underground after ancient cataclysms. Some say it's the giants, descendants of the Nephilim. Some say it's the Agrathans, peaceful masters of energy and consciousness. But the most sinister theory, the one people whisper about, not shout, the Reptilians. Reptilians are usually connected to alien theories, shapeshifters, bloodlines, elite rulers. But one part of the lore gets ignored way too often. Many versions of the reptilian theory don't describe them as extraterrestrial. They describe them as intraterrestrial, meaning they came from below, not above. Some stories say the reptilians were the dominant species on Earth millions of years before humans existed. Cold blood, highly adaptive, highly intelligent, perfectly suited for underground habitats. And according to certain conspiracy circles, reptilians didn't go extinct, they went underground, into deeper and deeper layers, into giant cavern systems, into cities illuminated by geothermal energy, into places where sunlight never reaches, and yet life thrives. Some claim they formed the Agartha network, a connected series of subterranean kingdoms. Others say they used to rule the surface openly, and humans were basically their livestock or servants. And when humans rebelled or evolved too fast, the reptilians simply retreated below the crust and continued influencing humanity from the shadows, not as conquerors this time, but as puppeteers. Here's where things get eerie. You ever notice how many military bases sit near massive cave systems? Or how many disappearances happen around national parks that are full of underground tunnel networks? Or how often governments quietly shut down areas with unusual seismic activity? Some whistleblowers, former military, former engineers, former geologists claim that there are deep underground bases where humans and reptilians collaborate. Entire tunnel systems exist, connecting continents. The government uses aggressive containment protocols for creatures emerging from deep caverns. Certain caves are permanently sealed, not because they're dangerous, but because they lead somewhere. Civilization is not meant to see. One ex-contractor claimed the military encountered something scaled, tall, fast, and absolutely not human during underground construction. He said it communicated telepathically. He said it was territorial. He said it told the soldiers to go back upward. Upward. Like we're the basement. So, if a powerful species lived below us, why not take the planet back? Well, they might not need to. If you believe the theory, reptilians influence surface civilizations so efficiently that open rule would be pointless. They supposedly manipulate governments, influence religions, control financial systems, seed technology, and observe humanity like a long-term experiment. And they can do all that without revealing themselves. Because honestly, why show your hand when you can run the game from the shadows? There's even a theory that the surface world is like a farm, not in a creepy, weird food way, more like a behavioral experiment, a simulation that's not digital, but biological. Humans evolving, fighting, inventing, destroying, rebuilding, all while someone else watches from below, almost like they're waiting for something, or preparing for something. Alright, let's talk about the part of the hollow earth theory that flips the entire UFO conversation upside down. Because, for decades, people have been looking to the sky. Meanwhile, the real activity might be happening below the waterline. There's a growing theory, one that military insiders quietly talk about, one that pilots whisper about off-record, that aliens aren't extraterrestrial at all. They're intraterrestrial, meaning they're not coming from distant galaxies. They're coming from inside the planet. And honestly, the evidence lines up scarily well. USO encounters, the ones nobody likes to talk about. Pilots usually report UFOs, right? Flying objects, lights in the sky. But what most people don't know is that there's another category of encounters the military keeps way more quiet. USOs. Unidentified submersible objects. These things don't just fly. They dive straight into the oceans. No splash, no slowing down, no loss of speed. We're talking aircraft moving at thousands of miles per hour, making a 90-degree turn straight into the ocean like the water isn't even there. Multiple Navy pilots have said the objects can travel underwater faster than any submarine ever built. They show no heat signatures. They make no sound. They can jump from water to air in a split second. They react to aircraft as if they're studying us. These aren't meteors. These aren't drones. These aren't weather balloons doing Mach 20 underwater. So what are they? Here's the creepy part. We've explored maybe 5% of the ocean floor. That's it. The rest? No idea. Could be trenches, caves, tunnels, entire openings the size of cities, and we'd never know. Some theories say the planet's inner world isn't connected through the poles, but through massive underwater tunnels drilled into the crust millions of years ago. Trenches like the Mariana Trench, the Tonga Trench, the Puerto Rico Trench, and the deep basins beneath Antarctica's ice shelf. These places are so deep and so dangerous that no human being has truly mapped them, and that's exactly where USOs keep showing up. Coincidence? Probably not. So, aliens? Or just the neighbors we've forgotten? Here's the theory. Those aliens we keep seeing, they are not visitors. They're residents. They were here before us. Reptilians, Agarthans, or some other inner Earth civilization that evolved way ahead of us, developed insane technology, and retreated into the planet long before humans figured out how to make fire. From their perspective, we're basically toddlers with nukes. According to the theory, these beings use energy from the planet's core, gravity manipulation, pressure-resistant craft, and dimensional tunneling inside caverns, which is why their ships can move seamlessly from air to water without resistance. Not because they defy physics, but because they understand it. Why would they use the oceans? Simple. The ocean is the perfect cover. Nobody's watching. Nobody's measuring. Nobody's mapping. If you were an ancient, advanced civilization trying to travel between inner Earth passages without getting noticed by surface humans, you'd use the ocean too. We're too busy arguing about gas prices to look for interdimensional doorways beneath 6 miles of salt water. It raises the real question. All these UFO sightings happening near coastlines, naval bases, islands, deep ocean trenches, the poles. What if they aren't random? What if they're traffic zones, exits, entrances, gateways, and humanity just happened to build military bases right on top of them like clueless roommates drilling holes in the landlord's ceiling? Maybe the reason governments are so silent, the reason they panic behind closed doors, is because they don't want to admit the truth. We aren't being visited. We're being observed, not from above, but from below, from a civilization that sees us the same way we look at ants on the sidewalk, interesting for a minute, then forgettable. And honestly, maybe that's the scariest part. Now let's talk about something a lot of Hollow Earth stories mention: The inner Sunday, a glowing sphere of energy at the center of the planet. Some call it plasma, some call it a mini-star. Some claim it's a construct, a piece of ancient technology the inner civilizations built. Whatever it is, the theory says, it creates daylight on the inner surface. It allows for lush vegetation. It keeps the internal world warm. And it's probably the same energy source reptilians have used for millions of years. Imagine a civilization with endless clean energy, no atmospheric damage, no wars over resources. Now imagine them looking at us, on the surface, fighting over oil and water while destroying our environment. They must be thinking, yeah, these surface dwellers aren't ready for contact, but maybe that's the whole point. Maybe we're being tested, or observed, or merely tolerated. Let's talk about how we aren't allowed to be near Earth's north and south poles. The polar regions are some of the most restricted places on Earth, Antarctica especially. You can't just go explore. You can't fly wherever you want. You can't drill what you want. And Arctic expeditions? Same deal. Now ask yourself, why are the most empty, frozen, lifeless areas on Earth the most heavily regulated? It makes no sense unless there's something worth hiding. Something like entrances. What if Hollow Earth isn't a theory, but a memory? Here's a fun thought. What if humanity isn't imagining Hollow Earth? What if we're remembering it? All these cultures with underground myths, what if they're recalling events from ancient times? What if humans used to interact with inner civilizations before things went very, very wrong? A war, a rebellion, a migration, a betrayal, a disaster, something that forced the two civilizations' surface and inner to permanently separate. And what if the reptilians were part of that? Maybe that's why the theory hit such a nerve. Because somewhere deep in our collective subconscious, we know we weren't always alone on this planet, and we might not be now. Whether you believe Hollow Earth is literal, symbolic, or just an ancient story that won't die, the fact is clear. Humanity has an obsession with what lies below. We've explored space more than our own oceans. We've mapped the moon better than the Earth's interior. We know almost nothing about the layers beneath our feet. Every time we drill deeper, dig further, or build new technology, the stories get stranger. Lights underground. Sounds with no source. Creatures we aren't supposed to talk about. Military shutdowns. Caverns the size of small countries. Cultures describing underground beings before writing even existed. Maybe it's all imagination. Maybe it's all symbolism. Or maybe, just maybe, Earth isn't a planet with secrets. Earth is the secret. And we're living on the top floor of something ancient, watching us, waiting, and maybe, one day, returning. Thanks for listening to this journey into the deep. If you want more dark conspiracies, forbidden theories, and stories that keep you up at night, you know what to do. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and stay away from unmarked caves. Because if even one part of this theory is real, then we are standing on top of the biggest secret in history, and it has been under our feet the whole time. Thank you for listening to Conspiracy Anonymous. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you'd like to hear in the next video.